Hello, welcome to this weather update. It's a little after 8 o'clock. We're going to talk a lot about what's going on in the Atlantic. But first, we'll just get over today. Gloomy weather, light rain, very cool out. We have the stall front in the area, so I'll just showing you some of the conditions outside. Just to really quickly get past this. There is going to be a continued easterly flow, so there will be wow, look at that, 59. So you see that east wind 13 and gusting to 21. So really raw out there, really cool. Really just a raw, cool day across the area today. We have the high surf advisory, small craft advisory, and a gale warning because of the easterly flow. This has nothing to do with Florence. It has to do with the fact that there's this high pressure to our north and the stall front to our south. Anyway, let's get to the hurricanes, all right? Because we got hurricanes. Florence is now a hurricane again. Category 1, maximum sustained winds 85 miles an hour, and the minimum essential pressure is 975 millibars, and its movement is west at 7 miles an hour. But then we have Tropical Storm Isaac, which is going to probably become a hurricane too. Maximum sustained winds are near 70 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure 997 millibars. Its movement is west at 12 knots. And then we have, Hurricane Helene, Category 1, so 75 mile an hour winds, 992 millibars, and its movement is west at 11 knots, at 13 miles an hour. So I guess we'll get these two over with before we get to Florence. So we'll talk about Helene. All right. The good news with Helene, it's gonna recurve out to sea. It's not gonna bother anybody, but it's gonna probably be a pretty substantial hurricane. Again, here we go. It's max sustained wind 75 miles an hour. Movement is west at 13, but it is going to recurve out to sea. So that's the good news. It won't be a threat to land. Well, it actually could be a threat to. Nah, it's not going to be a threat to the Cape Verde Islands. I think it's just going south of there. Isaac. Tropical Storm Isaac, on the other hand, is a threat to land, and it probably will intensify to a hurricane, and it looks like it's going to wind up somewhere in the Caribbean. It could be a threat to the Dominican Republic, the Leeward Islands, by Thursday or Wednesday, or by Wednesday or Thursday, perhaps. So max sustained wind 70 miles an hour. This is going to be a hurricane, too. West at 12 miles an hour, so it's tropical storm, but it's going to strengthen to a hurricane. All right, and then Florence, which is a hurricane once again. Florence has maximum sustained winds at 85 miles an hour. Its movement is west at 7 miles an hour, and it's going to pick up all of its strength again. And they're having it landfall somewhere. The cone of uncertainty has gotten a little larger now to include Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. But the whole East Coast still has to watch this thing because we're still a ways out. And again, it would landfall probably Thursday and Friday now as the time frame because it's moving a little slower. All right, so let's go ahead and look at these on satellite. I guess we'll start with Helene first. Wait for it to load here. Seems like it's not loading all the frames. There we go. Or it's taking a while. I do apologize. There you go. It's just taking some time. So there is Helene. It looks healthy. Look at that. Wow. You can see the convection really going off around the center here. Really looks like a healthy storm. Look at that. Wow. So this thing is strengthening, and it's probably going to be Category 3 probably. But the good thing is, as far as Helene goes, it's going to recurve out to sea. Now, Tropical Storm Isaac. Now we go to Isaac. So this is Isaac, not terribly, or a very good circulation, and it looks like there is some. This thing is strengthening, even though it doesn't look very large. It is strengthening, and so this could become a monster right here, as well. And then we have, of course, last but certainly not least, Hurricane Florence, and well, we gotta wait for us all to load again. But you can see it definitely is strengthening. Look at that. Wow, yeah, you could definitely see a really good cycle of strengthening. See those dark colors? Those are the higher cloud tops. This thing is really getting its act together. It's really starting to wind back up again. And it's going to start strengthening rapidly. It's already starting to strengthen, so I think it's just going to pick up as it moves away from that dust. And this is where we're going to look at this, which is the high-resolution visible satellite from MODIS, and you can see there is Florence looking extremely healthy. And wow, look at that, really well-defined circulation there. Then we have Isaac. This is Isaac right here. All right, so it looks a little looser, but it's going to strengthen. And here's the dust that's coming off the Sahara. You can clearly see it here, and this is Helene. So even despite the dust, it's strengthening. This dust may. It looks like it's moving away, and the thing is, the track of these. I think as Helene moves into this dust, it might weaken, but Isaac is going to strengthen. I still think Helene is going to strengthen before it weakens, even with the dust here. So there you go. There you go. It's a picture of three tropical systems there in the Atlantic. So the Atlantic is really waking up in a big way. Could actually look like it's going to be a quiet season, but now the Cape Verde season has started, and it started with a vengeance. And here you go. Here's the stalled front over our area. Here's that tropical air to our south. You can see all the popcorn clouds, all the cumulus, and then to our north, some really nice clear skies. If we were in northern Maine, Canada, we'd be getting into that. Instead, we're in this damp, raw, cool weather that we are experiencing. All right, so let's now take a look at the models and see what the latest is with the track of Florence. This is the 18Z GFS now. The 12Z stalled it off the Carolina coast and then took it out to sea. Let's see if this model does the same thing. So here it comes. It's approaching, by Thursday afternoon, it is approaching the Outer Banks. And we move it along here, slowly moving ashore. And it still has its stalling right over North Carolina, it looks like, just sitting there right through Sunday. Wow, that's going to be devastating for them. And then it moves out to sea, and then it re-strengthens again. Look at that. It moves out to sea, then it re-strengthens again, hits Bermuda. That could definitely be really bad, and then moves up, and it looks like it hits Nova Scotia. That is crazy. That is crazy. So I do want to show you the previous run. You can see it's stalling there, and then moving. This is because of a high building down from the north that's going to kind of nudge us. The good thing about this high building down from the north is that it should keep it from coming up here. So that's the good news in all of this. As far as this run goes, I want to show you the 12Z run, because the 12Z run really had it sitting and spinning for an even longer amount of time. So here we go. It approaches Thursday. Look at that. Yeah, look at this. I'll show you. It just sits here. Look at that. And then it goes away. So that's nuts. So there you go. It's very weird, but this is because of the way the steering patterns are in the atmosphere. All right. So that was the 12Z run, but that's an old run. We're looking at the new one now. So let's take a look and see what the winds. You can see what it has the winds at. All right. So let's see what it has the winds at, because I'm pretty sure this thing is going to become a Category 4. So here you go. You see those dark colors right there in the eye wall. Those are winds of at least sustained winds of at least 100 miles an hour. All right, as this thing approaches, and then on Thursday afternoon, the Cape would start seeing the winds pick up very quickly up toward hurricane force, probably first tropical storm force, then hurricane force, and then it moves in very slowly. And eastern North Carolina is going to deal with winds, Category 3 winds at least, 100 miles an hour for an extended period of time, along with the rain as well. So they'll be dealing with that probably. They'll be dealing with hurricane conditions perhaps a day straight before this thing starts to weaken, because it's over land, and part of it at least is cut off from the ocean, but part of it is not. So we're still seeing some possible along the shore here, possible tropical storm force winds as we go into Saturday, and then it just sits there, and it's probably a lot of rain is probably gonna fall in that area. So flooding could be a major problem too. I'm not just talking about seawater flooding, but freshwater flooding from rainfall as well. And then this thing moves out to sea and strengthens again. And look at that. By the time it gets toward Bermuda, it's already almost back up to a Category 3 already, which is insane. And then it moves up, and then it hits Nova Scotia, which could deal with near hurricane force winds. So this is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. This Florence, I'm telling you, it feels like a cat. Like, it has 9 lives or 3 lives or whatever. It weakens, and then it strengthens, and then it weakens again. So it's a very unusual storm. And I want to look at the rainfall amounts. Let's see what the rainfall. So we'll take a look at the 24-hour accumulated precip when this thing moves on shore, because I'm really curious about that. Look at that. Yeah, see this spot right here? That is 2 feet of rain right there. So 2 feet of rain or more could fall in that area. That is really going to be devastating. And not just the wind, but the rain. The fact this thing is just going to sit there for a little while. That's what makes it so dangerous. So we're going to go to the right. We're going to go to this, and we're going to look now at the euro. See what the euro has. Actually, we'll look at the Canadian, and then we'll look at the euro. How's that sound? So the Canadian, let's back it up. Canadian approaches it a little later on Thursday, probably Thursday night, right into the Outer Banks, and then it has it sit there as well. And look at that, it just sits there, retrogrades a little bit, still sits there, and then goes up the coast as a tropical depression or a tropical storm. So that's what the Canadian does. The Canadian is not known to be a very accurate model with these storms, so I don't really give it a whole lot of credit, and I don't want to spend too much time with it either. Let's take a look at the euro. That's the other model. So the euro is the other fairly credible model, and it's usually the more credible model when it comes to tropical systems. So here we go. It has it approaching on Thursday morning. So yours a little faster. Has it approaching, looks like a little further south, probably parts of North Carolina, South Carolina. Looks like right around maybe Myrtle Beach or a little north of there. And then takes it inland. See, it has a big high here. So all the models have this big high, most of them do, to protect us. And it forces the storm to the south. And then it winds up going inland over North Carolina, interior North Carolina, and then just kind of dies out over there and sits there and then gets shunted to the south. So that's what the euro has. So again, very varied scenarios. We're still far out, but this seems to be the idea, is that this is going to hit land. It's going to hit the East Coast, and the most likely area it's going to hit, I would say, is anywhere from south of Delmarva to extreme southern South Carolina. All right, so let's get back into our local weather here, and we're going to start off with what kind of air we're going to be dealing with. Now, it was kind of raw but cool, and dew points haven't been that high, but unfortunately the humidity starts coming back tomorrow, and we see a warm front, this stall front that's been to our south, now starting to move back north again. And here we go with the humidity. You can see that warm front moving through, and then bringing with it more higher humidity again. And as we go into Monday, Tuesday, we're going to be dealing with, again, some very high dew points. I see mid-70s again. So once again, we're going to be dealing with some really oppressive dew points again. Just when you thought we were done with it, nope, they're coming back on Tuesday and Wednesday. Same deal. We got these dew points here, very high. Again, this tropical air is stuck over the east again. And what about Thursday? Does it get any better? Not really. Not really. But you can start to see Florence right there. And as it sits there, it will start pulling in drier air from the northeast. So the dew points will come down Friday probably. And it will pull down some drier air, fortunately for us. It'll be like a little corridor of dry air for us as we go into next weekend. And so we may have some nice weather on our hands while they're suffering. And then afterwards, a really strong cold front comes through around September 18th, and we really get into some really nice dry air. And hopefully that would be it for the humidity, hopefully, because we're tired of it. So let's take a look at the temperatures here. See what the temperatures have. Let's see, do the temperatures here. Take a look at that. So again, we got to back up for. All right. So it's been cool today, but as we go into, you see this today. Here's the heat. It's coming up. So here we go, Monday. It gets closer. You can see the heat's back over the Delmarva. Not over us yet. We'll just be dealing with the humidity tomorrow. But then by Tuesday, we're going to be dealing with more heat and humidity. Not as bad as it was, but temperatures are going to be in the 80s and maybe near 90 in parts of New Jersey on Tuesday. And then as we go into Wednesday, same deal, 80s over the island. Luckily with that onshore flow, it won't allow it to get too hot. There'll also be plenty of clouds around. So it should keep the temperatures down, but it's going to be very humid. Thursday, temperatures look like they drop a little more, upper 70s. And Friday looks like we're going to have temperatures in the 70s, mid 70s looks like. And then Saturday, same deal. And it looks like you can see there's that front. And you can see that front coming in, and there it comes through. 70s for Monday, except this is a week from this Monday, and then as we get later into the week, highs may only be in the 60s. So we may have finally some nice air to work with. Maybe Florence will be the force that brings it down finally for us. We'll look at precip, look at the rain, see how we're going to deal with that, because we will have chances of rain throughout this week. All right, so tomorrow we're going to have chances of showers all day. You can see this is the moisture from Gordon. That's kind of over our area. That's kind of moved through. It's moving through tonight into tomorrow. And Tuesday, September 11th. Yeah, this looks like there's going to be some rain around, which hopefully it won't rain too heavy so they can get all the ceremonies in they need to. But there is the chance of rain because we got this frontal boundary over the area. And then Wednesday, same deal, chance of rain. You can see there's that stall frontal boundary again. Thursday, less of a chance. All right. And Friday, probably even less of a chance, even as this moves short, because it's going to pull in the drier air. So that is what is probably going to happen there. And then let's look at the NAM. Look at the NAM. See how the NAM does with the rain. All right, so because the NAM's somewhat of a better model to use with the rainfall. So yeah, we're going to be dealing with the rain, and then it's going to be raining throughout the day tomorrow of a showery variety. Then it looks like there might be a break in the afternoon, maybe, and then less of a chance of rain on Tuesday. And then as we go into Wednesday, less of a chance of rain. And there we go, we're up to Thursday. And you can start to see, let me take this out. I actually want to see, because the storm should be showing up on the NAM now. So let's see, it should show up on the NAM. There it is. All right, so there it is. There's Florence on the NAM. That's where the NAM has Florence. So the NAM is similar to the GFS and the Eurotrack, somewhere in the Carolinas. So this where it looks like it's probably going to hit. It looks like maybe we might dodge the bullet, but it ain't over till it's over yet. We still need to watch it. Wherever this thing hits, it's going to be devastating. So keep my eye on it, and we got to pray for whoever it hits. And I want to thank you for watching. Take care.